I call this regular town board meeting to order at 7 p.m. on March 19th, 2024. Please join me and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Supervisor Evans,
Here.
Councilwoman Cunningham,
Here.
Councilman Malone, Councilman Perticone,
Here.
Councilman Weiner,
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
Chief Savalone and the members of the town board, please join me. Chief. Whereas, first, there's very few Americans that know the privilege of serving others selflessly, and I'm proud to say that you have served our community selflessly. And I read somewhere when I was in Sunday school that no man has greater love than to lay his life down for a friend. And you've always been our friend, and from my heart, I want to thank you and all the firemen for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Whereas the Somerville, Winster Beach, and White City Fire Association began providing fire services in 1906, incorporating in the September of 1914, and whereas the west side of the town of Rondequoit had insufficient fire protection prior to the year 1924, and whereas with the appropriation of $50,000 in funds for the purchase of equipment and the construction of a fire station, the St. Paul Boulevard Fire Association was established in the year 1924. And whereas in the year 1947, the St. Paul Boulevard Fire Association expanded to include ambulance services, and whereas at present, the St. Paul Boulevard Fire Association has nearly 60 volunteer and 16 paid firefighters who respond to around 18,000 fire and ambulance emergencies annually. Now, let it be resolved that I, Andre Evans, and the Rondequoit Town Board do hereby recognize the St. Paul Boulevard Fire Association for 100 years of service to the town of Rondequoit, so declared on this day, the 19th of March, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thanks for all you do. Good. Top people in the back. Now you're. Top people. Sorry. Top people. No. Oh boy, you gotta get closer. All right, yeah, we're not free yet. Thank you. All right. Thanks for all your help. Thanks for everything. Yeah, I Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours is in 42.
I saw it, yeah.
I forgot to tell you today I was going to
I
go.
saw it, like, it's just mine,
Chasing more stuff with grandkids than I did with kids.
Good, good.
That was very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe it. You got the same ones. You got a spray paint.
It is always good to recognize the heroes amongst us. I just wanted to remind everyone that the solar eclipse is happening on April 8th, Irondequoit. In Irondequoit, New York, will be the path of the totality from roughly 3:20 to 3:23. Most of Town Hall will be closed that day, but IPD and DPW will be available should anything happen, just as they would be on holidays. The Rec Center is hosting an event with the Helmer Nature Center. We're expecting food trucks, crafts, and full viewing of the event. Parking will be limited, so please plan to go to the community center for a free shuttle to the Nature Center. Also, the Town Board Workshop has been rescheduled to April 9th at 4 p.m. As you can see on the agenda this evening, Ms. Barbara Junior is set to retire at the end of this month. She couldn't make it tonight, but we are happy to celebrate her and honor her for years of service to the town. Earlier today, we celebrated her, and it was a great pleasure to recognize all of the work that she's given our community. We had a lunch and a proclamation in her honor. We'll start the public input. How many people do we have signed up? Is there anyone here that would like to speak? And the rules are, please give your, please, as you approach, state your name and your address for record. And you have 3 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Christina Smith-Dell. I own 31 Schnackle Drive. I'm here today in support of STRs and also to ask for a review of the code allowing fences over access easements. Our house is only accessible by the deeded access easement through my neighbor at 39 Schnackle Drive. Schnackle Drive is a one-lane private road that's very steep and narrow. Our driveway is at the bottom and currently blocked by a gate owned by my neighbor. The gate requires you to park on the one-lane road, get out, unlock the stakes in the ground individually, drive through, park on the easement, then close each side. It's very dangerous, especially in the winter, and restrictive of my rights. I've spoken with my neighbor about removing it or keeping it open numerous times, and he will not oblige consistently. Initially, there was no permit for the gate. I called the town and a violation was issued. He applied for a permit and one was immediately issued by the town because it met code, despite the fact he's got a corner lot. I was told I have no recourse. Homes only accessible by easement should have different specific codes related to fences and gates blocking their right-of-way and ensuring unrestricted use of the property. Gates should not be allowed to impede an owner's access to their own property. Our deed that when we purchased in May of 2023 states we have unrestricted access through a 20-foot wide easement. This was first referred to a deed in 1990 and unrestricted right of access by any means, including vehicular and pedestrian, was noted. In the next deed in 2000, the unrestricted right of access by any means over the easement was granted and binding on all parties and future owners. In 2001, an order for a declaratory judgment for a permanent access easement was issued by the Supreme Court after the current owner of 31 Schnackle alleged the neighbor was blocking her access. The Supreme Court intervened again and stipulated not to obstruct the easement. Again, these incidents show my neighbor's attempt to hinder the owner's use of the easement. It's very clear I should have unrestricted access to my home and do not believe it's right for the town to issue a fence permit over this area. The former things I mentioned are all very important in regards to my property registered as an STR, as I believe it's the true reason for the harassment I've been experiencing. I support STRs for numerous reasons. I use them when I travel. I like to use my home and supplement my income. STRs bring visitors and guests to Irondequoit who otherwise wouldn't visit. This brings additional income to the town and small businesses. STRs are not affecting real estate negatively for local buyers, as Irondequoit was just named the best market in the nation for first-time home buyers in 2024 by Realtor.com. We have very strict rules, no parties, no events, and we clearly outline all of our expectations for our guest stay, and we want nothing but to make Irondequoit better. My neighbor has been attempting to impede my use and enjoyment of the property from the beginning due to his dislike of his home having an easement. I empathize with this, so we have a rule, only 2 cars in the driveway, and try our best not to disturb him. I guess, can I have like a sum up time, or would that be okay? Or
10 seconds.
okay. From small things like complaining about garbage, adding wind chimes, lights, and invasive cameras, to telling my guests they can't use the driveway, calling false 911 and Airbnb complaints in.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Just for public knowledge, STR is short-term rentals.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak? Please state your name, address for record, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Board. Mike Nolan, I-Square offices now at 500 Bakers Park. I'm here again to request a public meeting with you, the town board, to work toward a resolution of your lawsuit against I-Square. Last week I met with Supervisor Evans and he stated that all the board members share the desire to see this resolved. Wendy and I do also. We had a court hearing yesterday morning and the judge reiterated the court's position of encouraging us to work together towards a resolution. He also granted a continuance on the case until early May to allow us time to work together toward an agreement. I speak with residents every day, both at I-Square and Irondequoit Beer Company, and the feedback is always similar. Everybody has a desire to see us get along and work together rather than against one another. So the town board would like this resolved. Wendy and I would like this resolved. The judge presiding over the court case wants this resolved, and most importantly, the residents of Irondequoit want to see this resolved. Why are we not meeting? Nothing's going to get solved without conversation and talking. Isn't our government supposed to be open and transparent? Why can't we have an open and transparent meeting? The town attorney seems to be the only person who doesn't want to see us resolve this. She's given one reason after another, reasons we can't meet and progress to come together for a solution. It's one red herring after another, and I believe we're on 8 or 9 or 10 of them now, where just do this and we can do this, and just do this and we can do this, and it goes on and on and on. What is she afraid of? What's the worst thing that could happen by having a meeting together? Maybe we'll resolve it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else like to speak?
Hi, my name is Marcia Enright. I live at 75 Clay Avenue. I've been here for 9 months now.
Excuse me, ma'am, can you move the microphone towards your mouth? Yep, that's it. Thanks.
I listened to everybody in November, the public input, telling you how uncomfortable it is to live next to a short-term rental. I listened to how the repairing of zombie homes got transformed, and that could also have been done by first-time home buyers who would have been a neighbor. I listened to owners tell the board their guests go to local restaurants and businesses. So do homeowners, and so do long-term rental people. I listened to property managers say that these were great for his repair business. People saying they lived on the bay that have never spent a night there. Those houses could have children living in them. They could be going to school here. Their families could become part of the community, and those families could actually vote for you. I also realized that not one single complaint came to this board about a true bed and breakfast where the owner was on site. They seem to police themselves well, and there's never a complaint about them. The complaints are only on the single-family homes. I was also here the other night when I listened to LaBella selling his wares about his world-solving problems. The people in this town, everybody in the room and all the firemen that just left, they elected you folks to speak for them, to fulfill their desires. LaBella's name wasn't on the ballot. Yours were. It's up to you guys, with your legal counsel, of course, to solve this problem. I asked the board to vote exclusively no on any rental less than 28 days. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address the board? Seeing none, public input is now closed, and we may move to the financial report. Madam Controller?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. In this report, I am presenting a preliminary 2023 year-end financial results for the town as of February 29th. The 2023 books were open through the end of February to allow for receipt and processing of outstanding commitments and to account for and properly record all 2023 revenue owed to the town. However, the books are now closed. 2023 preliminary results will not be presented again in this forum. Following the annual audit, the town's auditors from the Bonadeo Group will present highlights of the audited 2023 financial statements and audit report. The preliminary 2023 year-end results as of February 29th. The town's total expenses are slightly higher than budget at 101%, a sum of $43,921,000. This amount includes encumbrances of $736,000. The general fund expenses are below budget at 99.7%, or $27,382,000. The actual expenditures are $27,111,000, or 98.8% of budget. The remaining 1% is due to $272,000 of encumbrances. Outstanding encumbrances include contracted services for IT and various vehicles and equipment which delivery has been delayed. Overall, the expenses in the highway funds are higher than budget at 111%, a total of $7,302,000. The costs in these funds result from considerable total expenses for salt, paving, and fuel as projected. The overage of expenditures is due to the increased paving work completed in 2023 and is offset by additional CHIPS funding received. The library expenditures total $2,819,000, or 100.8% of budget. Expenses in the sewer fund of $4,198,000 represent 95.7% of budget. The $941,000 of stormwater drainage expenses represent 100% of budget. The general fund has received $29,001,000, or 109.8% of budget. The real estate taxes totaled $12,007,000 as budgeted. Payment in lieu of tax revenue equated to $252,000, or 97.7% of budget. Other major revenue recorded or accrued by the town includes sales tax in the amount of $7,091,000, or 124% of budget. Aid and incentives to municipality payments of $613,000 at 100%. 89.4%, or $595,000 of franchise cable TV revenue, and mortgage tax of $960,000 at 97% of budget. Regarding the entire town, $45,473,000, or 107% of revenue and appropriated fund balance has been documented. At year-end, the library revenue totals $2,821,000, or 100.9% of budget. 110.6%, or $7,223,000 of revenue was recorded by the highway funds. Revenue of $4,362,000, or 99.4%, has been verified by the sewer fund. Stormwater drainage has received $883,000, or 99.4% of its budgeted revenue. This concludes the preliminary 2023 year-end financial report as of February 29th. Moving on to the second report, the 2024 financial results for the town as of February 29th. Total expenses, actual as well as encumbered, are $7,953,000, or 18.8% of budget, higher than the 16.7% of the year that has elapsed. The breakdown is actual expenses, $7,278,000, and encumbered expenses, $675,000. Encumbrances have not all been entered into the financial system as we are transitioning to the new financial software. The general fund expenses are at 22.6% of budget, or $6,057,000. The breakdown here is actual expenditures, $5,847,000, and $210,000 of encumbrances. Together, the expenses on the highway fund are $806,000, or 12.9% of budget. Actual expenses represent $611,000, or 9.7%, and current encumbrances are $195,000, or 3.1%. Expenditures in the library are under budget at $253,000, or 8.9%. The sewer fund expenses are 16.4% of budget, equating to $674,000. The expenses on the stormwater drainage total $60,000, or 6.4% of budget. The general fund revenue received is $14,556,000, or 54.7% of budget. Included in revenue is $12,790,000 of real estate tax, 100% of budget. $205,000 of payment in lieu of tax revenue has been received, approximately 88% of budget. Regarding the entire town, $26,783,000, or 64.3% of revenue has been received to date. 100% of real estate tax and special district fees totaling $23,894,000 have been received. The library has received $2,746,000, or 96.5% of its budgeted revenue. The highway fund's collective receipts of $4,309,000 represent 71.3% of its budgeted revenue. Sewer fund has received $3,746,000, or 97.5% of that fund's budget, and $934,000, or 99.4% of stormwater drainage budget has been received. This concludes the February 2024 financial report.
Thank you, Madam Controller. Any questions or comments on the financial report? Hearing none, I take a motion to accept the financial report.
I'll move it.
Can
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The financial reports are accepted. Madam Clerk, we have some minutes.
Approval of February 9th, 2024 special town board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Moved.
Second,
Second.
any questions or comments or revisions?
Supervisor Evans, I am going to be abstaining from this vote as I was not a board member at that time.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved.
Approval of February 12th, 2024 workshop meeting.
Motion to approve.
Moved.
Second,
Second.
any questions, comments, or revisions?
And again, I will be abstaining from this vote.
All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The minutes are approved.
February 22nd, 2024 regular town board meeting.
Motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Second,
Second.
any questions, comments, or revisions? All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The minutes are approved.
Approval of February 28th, 2024 special town board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Moved.
Second,
Second it.
any questions, comments?
I have an amendment on there. I would like my comments in the minutes from the, I was the only no vote on the hiring of the assessor. I would like my comments in that, the minutes, please. There weren't any in there. Any of my comments were not in the minutes, so if you can reflect them in there. Thank you.
So we will amend the minutes for the February 28th meeting to reflect John Perdicone's comments.
Thank you.
So motion to adopt the amendment?
Moved.
Second,
Second.
any questions, comments, or revisions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? So let's have a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move it.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? The minutes are approved. We'll now move on to the agenda items for tonight's meeting. Madam Clerk?
We'll start with appointments. Authorizing the temporary appointment of an acting town clerk and receiver of taxes.
Director HR?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As you mentioned, Town Clerk Barbara Janier has announced her retirement, and go ahead with your motion.
I'm out of order.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
Okay, I'll pick up where I left off. We thank Barbara Janier for her service to the town. Deputy Town Clerk Latasha Elder sitting on the dais tonight. Although it's her duty to fill in for the town clerk in her absence, it is appropriate to compensate her for that, and that's what this resolution would affirm.
any questions or comments?
The only question I have, Jason, is this job going to be posted, town clerk?
I would defer to the board on that, whether they want to elevate the deputy or recruit.
I mean, is that a decision we have to make right now? I don't know.
I don't think that is a decision we have to make now. We can discuss it at a later time or an executive session.
I think we should discuss it. I wasn't sure if it was gonna go out and, we're gonna put it out there for,
Yeah. Well, we can discuss it now, right? I just want to make sure that
do it later. I don't, it's up.
we can discuss it now in open format.
I think probably it's best if you do it in executive
Okay.
session. And if it doesn't need to be done tonight, you can do that later.
Okay, let's do this at a later time.
Okay, sure.
With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. I'm going to ask Ms. Elder to step forward. We go down. Ms. Farrell. Town board. Repeat after me. I, Latasha Elder,
I, Natasha Elder,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
temporary acting town clerk and tax receiver
temporary acting town clerk and tax receiver
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Madam Clerk, could you please read the next item?
Authorizing the permanent appointment of a police captain in the Arundecoyt Police Department.
Motion to adopt?
Move it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Could I get an explanation?
Yes, sir. This is for actually Captain Andrew Whitaker. He's almost a 20-year veteran of the Arundecoyt Police Department. He's been acting as in my captain's position since June of last year, since our last captain retired, and he has recently successfully passed the civil service exam. So at this point, I'd like to make him a permanent captain, and he's also still going to continue in his role as my patrol side captain.
Any questions or comments?
He's certainly well-known in our town and has done a great job.
Yes, well deserving for Andrew,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Very happy for him. Good position.
I first met Andrew when he was in the community service, and before he got promoted to sergeant, and was proud to recommend him for a sergeant exam. So I'm very proud that he has continued with the town. He's well respected, and you have a good person on your hand.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
With that, I'll ask all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Congratulations, Andrew. Madam Clerk, next item.
At this time, I ask that we go to the public hearings at 7:35 p.m.
Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll move it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone sign up to speak?
Got the block grant.
Okay, zero, yes. Clerk?
Item number 1, on the matter of providing opportunity for the public comment on Arundecoit's Community Development Block Grant Program.
Is anyone signed up to speak? With that, can I get a motion to close the public hearing? Okay. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to this issue?
Is that gonna speak? Yes. Okay, yeah, she should speak, right?
We have Barbara Johnston here from Labella who can
Okay.
explain the CDBG program.
Okay.
Good evening. So the Community Development Block Grant Program is, as most of you are aware, is a federally funded program to benefit people with low and moderate incomes. The town gets an entitlement grant each year. It's around $800,000 or so. The town runs a program to select projects to be funded through the Community Development Block Grant, services, as well as capital improvements and census block groups that are by census defined as low and moderate income target areas. The town has a citizen participation plan that requires 2 public hearings. This is the second public hearing of the program year. The first, depends how you count it, would be in May after the annual plan is proposed and for consideration by the town board. So this is an opportunity for people who have comments about any projects or programs that are funded through CDBG or have any questions about the program or suggestions for how the money might be spent. So we're always open to those questions. Either Diana or myself, can take those suggestions throughout the year. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that'd like to speak to this? With that, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
The public hearing is now ended. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? With that, the public hearing is now ended. Madam Clerk?
Item number 2, on the matter of providing opportunity for the public comment on a special use permit for Fifth Frame Brewing Company to operate a restaurant, eating establishment, or drinking establishment with seating for more than 30 patrons on premises 5370 St. Paul Boulevard in the C Business District.
Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
Move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
The public hearing is now open. Okay, Michelle, can you speak to this?
Sure thing. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is in regards to Fifth Frame Brewing Company has applied for the special use permit at the location of 5370 St. Paul Boulevard. They wish to operate a restaurant, eating establishment, and drinking establishment with seating for more than 30 patrons. With regard to this action, it's for the use of the property for a special use permit. It was classified as a type 2 action pertaining to pursuant to seeker purposes. And in your package, you should have also received the referral from the planning board regarding the positive referral with some findings. Jonathan is also here if you would like to speak with him in regards to Fifth Frame.
One question I have, Michelle, is he done with the planning board?
Is he done with the planning board?
So,
Where are we now with that?
well, he's not going to have to go to the planning board because he amended his plans
Okay.
for the permanent pergola. He has amended the front outdoor seating for movable structures per Monroe County DOT because most of that portion is in their right-of-way. They need to maintain that setback off of the sidewalk as well, but everything that they are proposing on the site plan is movable.
Please state your name and address for record.
John Mervine, 183 Yorkshire Road, Runnaquoit. Get the zip, sorry. Hello, Mr. Supervisor and board members. Just got a couple things to say. First of all, thank you for having us tonight. It means a lot. As a resident and now business owner in the fair town of Arundecoit, we're very excited to open a new chapter with you. We, Fifth Frame Brewing, aim to be an anchor to the community to create development for the people to come down to the esteemed Somerville area and also to revitalize the iconic Somerville Grill location. We're making a significant investment into the community that we care about and who has supported us, especially during the pandemic, and for the last 7 years alongside of our downtown location. Somerville Grill has been a long-standing institution and a cherished establishment that has served the community for over 25 years. We're looking to continue the legacy. We have a community base that I feel immense love from right from the get-go, hearing how much this place means to the neighbors, the friendships that they forged, the memories that were created, and we know we want to provide the same friendly atmosphere and the connection that was otherwise there. We're asking for this special use permit to be granted for 30-plus people so we can ensure the fun times, the never-ending summers, and to give the community what they've been asking for the last few months we've been working there. In addition, also being a destination to Somerville. Thank you for your time and your consideration. It means a lot.
Is there anyone else that'd like to speak to this issue?
Hello, my name is Rose Novak. I am president of the board at Westage at the Harbor. My concern, and I'm not sure with the variance being resolved, I'm concerned about 3rd Street, and I don't know what you're going to do regarding that. Has that been taken off? Is that variance gone for the 3rd Street pergola?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's, okay, so that's no longer an issue. Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Bill James, 5359 St. Paul Boulevard. I lived across the street from that bar for 45 years, and I had some concerns. There's 2 bars there already, and you're talking O'Loughlin's and the Yacht Center. That place should be a gym or a bar or a doctor's office or something, not a bar, but it is. So I want to, you want to increase the occupancy from 30 to what? I never heard another number. You're going to do it to 50, 60, 90? So that's one question. The second is, it's been a noise machine for forever, and it's if they're going to put chairs and have the dining outside with the smoking, the cigars, that stinkweed marijuana that comes out of them places, that place, prior to the pandemic. Let's see. It's going to be like having a noisy neighbor from noon until 2 in the morning. It's there's a lot of noise coming from schooners and pelicans along the river, which is noise, and then after midnight in the Charlotte parking lot with the squealing tires and the gunshots and everything else that comes from the other side of the river. It's just I don't think we need another one. The main thing is, where are you going to park? There's no there's no stopping on Parkview. There's no stopping on Somerville Drive. You come out of the bar, you look across the street, and it says no standing with arrows going both way down St. Paul Boulevard. The only parking they have is in that parking lot or on 3rd Street, which is not owned by the town. So, what else? The little bit that when I have to cut the grass, I have to walk out there and make sure there's no bottles, cans, cups, and everything else from people who get out of the bar, drink, and then just toss it on the front lawn. Not all the time, but yeah, I got to do that before I cut the grass. It's a residential neighborhood. It's not like Ridge Road or anything like that. So it's like, since the pandemic, it's been a residential neighborhood. It's quiet, peaceful, and I'd like to keep it that way. But the way it is now, it's like, it's going to be, I should take that back. The way it was there was no quality of life. I mean, it was like, I have a boiler. I don't have a hot water heater, so I have to have the windows open. That was, when it was just 30 people, or 30 occupancy, we'd have to close the windows sometimes. We'd call over there, depending on who owned it. About 5 different owners have owned it over the course of those years. Some of them were great, and some of them would just ignore us. So, you know, you call the police do a good job, always did, they come, but they're gonna come all the way down to Somerville to tell them to calm down, but they got better things to do than do that. So, no, I'm not for this, and I don't think it should be there. So, thanks, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir.
No question?
Does anyone like to speak to this issue?
Hi, I'm Nancy Griffin, and I live on 15 2nd Street. My backyard backs up to their parking lot. I'm in favor of it, except where it says over 30 patrons on the premise. And if it's busy, there's no place to park. And because past owners, it used to be Friday night, forget it, St. Paul was full of cars all the way down and on my street. So I couldn't have any guests over because there was no place for them to park. But other than that, I'm looking forward to the establishment.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Does anyone else like to speak to this issue?
Hi, I'm not a very good speaker. My name's Katie James. I live at 5359 St. Paul, across the street. Well, I'm all for, I like the idea of a restaurant. I don't like the idea of screaming people outside, yelling all night long until 2 in the morning. I get up at 4, I work at a hospital. There's little kids in the neighborhood, and in the past, we've listened to unbelievable, everything from domestic violence to gunshots, to squealing tires, to motorcycles. We've called police, they're wonderful, they come, but then 10 minutes later, they're back to shenanigans, and it gets old between all of the noise and all of the bars and all of the bikes. It starts wearing on the residents, and we all want a community and get along and all that. So I guess I'm for the restaurant and I'm for, the development. I think it's great. But again, enforcement of behavior, and how do you manage that? What are we going to do for that? The other thing is you cannot get an emergency vehicle down there. You had to get a fire truck down there when you had people parked on both sides of the road. You couldn't. Little kids are running in between the cars. Cars are screeching, jumping curves. Dogs are almost getting hit by cars because the speed down there is incredible. I mean, people just come out of those bars and they're on it. They just, whatever happens, they're having too much fun, I guess. So anyway, I'm not, it's a quiet place. It's a tiny residential neighborhood. We want to keep it nice. We like the idea of having a little restaurant in there, but when you get people outside and they're drinking and it's close to the sidewalk and you got a lot of cars parking, I'm not for that. And I mean, if it can be developed in a manner that helps everyone and is good for everyone, I'm for that. But you know, we see this and we're like, here we go again. It's one of those things. So thank you for listening. I just had to say my thing.
Thanks very much, ma'am. Anyone else? With that, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Move it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
The public hearing is now ended. Madam Clerk?
You need a vote on that.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll get this right one of these days. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The public hearing is now ended. Madam Clerk, we have a resolution.
Approving a special use permit for 5370 St. Paul Boulevard in the C Business District.
Motion to adopt.
I'll move it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Could I get an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is again approving the special use permit for 5370 St. Paul Boulevard in the C Business District.
Any questions or comments?
Well, I'd like to make some comments. Obviously, this is a little different. You're in a residential neighborhood, so I would hope that you respect the neighbors, and you're going to get the complaints if it does. You know what I mean? I hear the folks. You know what I mean? I mean, where your other establishment is, you're not in a residential area. You're up on St. Paul by Andrews. Is that correct? Where you are up there? Okay. You know, good luck and everything, and it's good to see a business owner come and do the right thing, you know, and do the right protocol that he's supposed to do to get this establishment. But I hope that, you know, the neighbors, you respect the neighbors and get to know them, really. You know what I mean? Get to know them and get out and hopefully you have a good rapport with them, because they're going to be coming to you for for all the complaint. You know what I mean? And I know it's hard to keep things down. I mean, you're open at 2:00 on Fridays and Saturdays, correct? Your hours. So, you know, just respect your neighbors. I would get to know them, get a relationship with them, and that'll help out a lot. So, and good luck. Really, good luck to you.
Any other questions or comments?
I've been to Fifth Frame, honestly, and I think I went there for the food as well as the hazy IPA. So it is a dining establishment, and I know, you know, the brewery part is, you know, a popular aspect that's associated with that. And you are an Irondequoit resident, and you've heard what the people say, your fellow Irondequoitians, and what the other town board members, I'm sure, will be respectful of that.
I'm also, have been there too. My daughter's, one of my daughter's friend is one of your employees, so I'm really excited to see that this is coming in, especially from an Irondequoit resident. So, and I know you'll be sensitive to the area. I can already see you reaching out to, so I appreciate that.
And finally, I want to say that I really appreciate your attitude and from day one, and how we communicate, and how you're willing to communicate and take into account the residents surrounding your business. I think the residents will be surprised that what they fear isn't your clientele, as I've been also to Fifth Frame several times, investigating you when you said you wanted to leave, move here. So that was a good experience, and I look forward to eating some of your gumbo. Any other questions or comments?
Can I ask one? When you looking to open? Just a date. I know it's hard right now. I know you're on a renovation and stuff, but just Summertime, late summer, sometime in the summer? Okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments? With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 3, on the matter of providing opportunity for public comment on a conditional special use permit for Scott and Sandy Miller to construct one additional in-law dwelling unit on premises 300 St. Paul Street in an RR Rural Residential District.
Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
I move it.
Can I have a second?
Second.
The public hearing is now open. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone that'd like to speak to this issue? Okay, Michelle, can you give an explanation, please?
Sure thing, Mr. Supervisor, thank you. This is in reference to 300 St. Joseph Street in the residential, rural residential district. They have submitted an application for a special use permit at their property located on 300 St. Joseph Street, to construct one additional in-law dwelling unit on the premises. And it was determined through seeker, it is a type 2 action pursuant to seeker purposes. Mr. and Mrs. Miller are both here if you'd like to hear from them in regards to the additional dwelling unit.
Okay, yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sandy and Scott Miller, 300 St. Joseph Street. As noted in the letter of intent that is included in the application, this year marks 130 years that our property has been in the Miller family, and our grandchildren will be the 6th generation to live on the property. The property was purchased by Scott's great-grandfather Charles in 1894, and the first generations of Millers farmed the land, growing primarily tomatoes, celery, and of course Arundequoit melons. Our proud and rich history in Arundequoit includes Charles being one of the founders of Seneca School, as recognized on a plaque that hangs in its halls, Scott's grandfather Henry and father Chuck being featured in numerous locally published books and newspapers regarding the history of Arundequoit and the Flats, Chuck responding to the St. Paul Fire Department's very first ambulance call, and Scott speaking as the community representative at the rededication ceremony of Seneca School in 2003, and our younger daughter, who was a student at Seneca at that time, cutting the ribbon. Since the very first generation, the goal of each generation has been to pass the property on to the next and keep what is affectionately known as the family farm and the Miller family. Construction of the in-law apartment not only meets the immediate need to keep our 85-year-old mother safe by eliminating her need to navigate multiple sets of stairs, it is also a vital part of our plan to pass the property down to the next generations, starting with our older daughter and her 3 children moving into the house on the property that our mother currently occupies. God willing, Scott and I have a few decades left in this world. If that is the case, and without the in-law apartment, our younger daughter will not have the benefit of living on the property again until we're gone, and she can move into the original farmhouse that we currently occupy. At that point, she would be in her 50s or 60s. Her children would already have grown and left her home, and sadly, her children would not have had the gift of growing up on the family farm. Alternatively, with the existence of the in-law apartment, when our mother is no longer with us, Scott and I will move into the in-law apartment, and our younger daughter and her family will move into the farmhouse. In addition, since we are quickly approaching retirement age, having both of our girls and their families on the property with us will be a huge help, both financially and physically. Their ability to help pay taxes and upkeep costs, as well as provide the sweat equity needed to cut acres of grass, pick up after dozens of trees, and all the other maintenance that comes with the property and its many buildings will be much needed in our retirement years. Beyond that, we envision the in-law apartment being a wonderful place for any of our grandchildren to live when they are old enough to move out of their parents' home, and the circle will continue. We do not anticipate non-family members ever living in the in-law apartment. The plan is that it will be strictly used by family members to help facilitate keeping our future generations on the property. While going through this process, we noticed that the motto of this amazing town is the town of a lifetime. For us and our family, the goal is that it continues to be the town of generations. Regarding the actual design and construction of the in-law apartment, we would like to note that our surveyor and site planner, architect, and builder are all Arundecoit residents. We are happy and proud to support these three amazing local small businesses as part of this endeavor. We appreciate your time and consideration and look forward to the opportunity to work with the town on this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else signed up to speak to this issue? With that, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The public hearing is now ended. Madam Clerk,
Resolution approving a special use permit for 300 St. Joseph Street in the Rural Residential District.
can I get an explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Yes, this again is approving the special use permit for 300 St. Joseph Street in the Rural Residential District.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Well, I just have one comment. Obviously, the Millers been down there for a long time, and one thing I'm impressed with, all the Millers live together and get along. God bless you. God bless you. But good luck down there. I've been in town my whole life as well too, and I know it's the Millers have always been the name down there, down in St. Joseph's, down in the flat. So, good luck to you, and God bless all of you for getting along so well. For getting along so well.
And also, I'm going to steal your motto, by the way, town for a generation, by the way. Any other questions or comments? With that, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. One second. Madam, can I get a motion to close the public hearing? No?
Nope, we're all set with the
We're
public
set.
hearing,
All
so
set.
we can return to the agenda.
Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 6, authorizing the transfer of a police officer to the Arundecoit Police Department.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Could I have an explanation, please?
Yes, sir. This is for, right now, he's a current police officer. His name is Joel Hume, and he works for the Warsaw Police Department. He graduated mid-'90s, and he went directly right into the Marine Corps. Did 5 years in the Marine Corps, retired as a sergeant. Had a couple of decorations while he was over there. Immediately when he got out, he used his GI Bill to put himself through the, I think it was the Erie County Police Academy, where he was basically paid his way through the academy, and he has turned out to be, looks like another stellar example of a great lateral candidate to come over to Arundecoit. We hired another individual from Warsaw PD last year, and he's turned out to be probably one of our best police officers we've ever had, so hoping that the tradition continues.
Any questions or comments? With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 7, authorizing the permanent appointment of a police lieutenant.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Can I have an explanation?
Yes, sir. This is for Lieutenant Joe Kuhn. He's been temporarily in his position since last fall, and he, just like Captain Whitaker, has recently taken the civil service exam, and he successfully passed. As you know, I've had him working as a temporary lieutenant over on 2nd Platoon during the days. He's brought some stability to that platoon. He's also head of our bow hunting program, plus he's also our lead motorcycle operator. So he's done an exemplary job. I'll have to give a little shout out to because he's a fellow Aquinas graduate. So, but he's done a great job, and because he has successfully passed, I'd like to actually make him permanent.
Any questions or comments?
No, but I can't think of a more well-deserving police officer than Joe Kuhn. To this, congratulations to him, Chief, and appreciate you bringing his name forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I echo that comment. I've known Joe for quite a while. He's an excellent police officer.
Yes, sir.
Thrice. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 8, authorizing the provisional appointment of an office clerk in the Arundecoit Town Clerk's office.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Could I get an explanation, please?
I can speak to that, Mr. Supervisor. With the vacancy in the town clerk's office, we canvassed the civil service lists. With no real luck there, the lists have all been exhausted. We were able to post for this publicly, and the interview committee selected Chase Stokes, and we would like to appoint him provisionally until the next exam can be given.
Any questions or comments?
Jason, any idea at all when the next exam is going to be? Is there anything scheduled at all, do you know?
I don't know about the clerk 4, sorry,
Okay.
but the clerk 3 is still a continual exam.
Yeah, that one is.
Twice a year.
But not the 4. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 9, authorizing the permanent appointment of a custodian in the Building Maintenance Department.
Sir Director?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Was there a motion?
We need a motion.
Sorry. Motion to adopt?
I move it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Director?
Thank you. Actually, this process of converting our late laborers into the custodian title began when Councilmember Perticone was acting town supervisor, I believe. So we have a couple light laborers left. They have taken the exam. At this point, we'd like to change the title of Stephen McDaniels and appoint him as a permanent custodian.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 10, authorizing a series of balance appropriation transfers within several funds of the 2023 operating budget.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Madam Controller, may I have an explanation, please?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution is an annual resolution brought forth to the board to make transfers within each of the operating funds within the town's budget, just to keep the budget and all the accounts in balance.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 11, authorizing capital lease financing agreement with J.P. Morgan Equipment Leasing for pickup truck for the Bureau of Public Works.
Madam Controller? I'm sorry. Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Madam Controller?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. At last week's workshop meeting, the board authorized a lease agreement with J.P. Morgan Equipment Leasing for the pickup truck. This resolution would just allow for the supervisor to execute that lease agreement with J.P. Morgan.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 12, ratifying and approving the agreement between a police officer in the Arundecoit Police Department and the town of Arundecoit relating to the officer's retirement from service.
Mr. Director? Sorry, motion to adopt?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Director?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Investigator DeFonte has been on a long-term medical leave, and to his credit, he has recently approached the town about retirement, and we agreed on a mutual agreement here, discussed with the town board. We find this settlement acceptable.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 13, authorizing the amendment of the town's personnel policy to include an updated sexual harassment prevention policy.
Motion to adopt?
Move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Can I get an explanation? Mr. Director?
Yes, in 2018, the town adopted New York State's model sexual harassment prevention plan. The policy the town adopted, well, that has been amended now by the state, so we would like to stay compliant with the just the qualifications to just abide by state law. So as we've adopted the model, we would just like to readopt the new model.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 14, authorizing the purchase of CSG cards for all town security and fire panels and associated transfer of funds.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Director, may I get an explanation?
Yeah, I could speak to that. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution proposes the installation of new communication boards in all security and fire panels across town facilities. Currently, the panels communicate via analog phone lines, so standard phone lines. We're looking to upgrade those boards to utilize digital networking and cellular technologies for reliability purposes. Upgrade will enhance reliability and reduce our monthly expenses in a big way, actually. At present, our monthly cost with Frontier is approximately $1,900 a month. With these changes, it would be reduced to $189 a month.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 15, declaring surplus items and authorizing the auction or destruction of said items.
Chief? Sorry, motion to adopt?
Move.
Second.
Second. Can I have an explanation, Chief?
Yes, sir. Sorry about dropping the mic there. Yeah, we're looking to surplus two pieces of equipment. One is a 2000 Polaris ATV. It's one of our old ones. We since have bought two brand new ones with grant monies. So this one will be able to get over our fleet. We can use the other one for training. And another one is a 1991 Ford van that was previously used as a surveillance vehicle. It has really no use for us, and it's, just want to try and thin out their number of vehicles that we have in our fleet that are being unused.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 16, authorizing 3 officers to attend vehicle crimes investigation course for law enforcement at Saratoga Sheriff's Department Training Facility in Ballston Spa, New York.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Can I get an explanation, Chief?
Yes, sir. Again, it's sending 3 officers to, it's Department of Motor Vehicles sponsored training being put on by Saratoga Sheriff's Department. Its training is comprehensive overview of auto theft trends, including techniques being utilized in modern car thefts and insurance fraud issues. I think countywide, we probably have almost 400 or at least 400 stolen vehicles this year so far. Obviously, Irondequoit is not immune to that, and I'd like to have some officers on the front lines of that.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 17, authorizing attendance to the 2024 Dog Control Educational Seminar.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation, Chief?
Yes, sir. This is some more training actually put on in Webster, New York, and it's one of the co-sponsors is New York State Department of Agricultural Markets. They're the ones who oversee our animal shelters, and so he'll be attending with the rest of the animal control officers throughout the county, and it's a great way to get updated training for one of our town employees.
Any questions or comments? With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 18, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with East Irondequoit Central School District.
Madam Commissioner? Oh, I'm sorry. Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Madam Commissioner?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would authorize the extension of our intermunicipal agreement with East Irondequoit School District. As I mentioned last week, these are great cooperative agreements. We have with both school districts as well as all the fire districts in town. So they, how they work is we perform the services and they pay us back for the materials and staff time associated with that work.
Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 19, to declare certain equipment as surplus property.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Can I get an explanation, Madam Commissioner?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This would surplus one of the vehicles that we have in the fleet, and it would also, it would be at a clerical error, we would switch the vehicles that we are looking to surplus.
Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 20, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Monroe County Division of Social Services and Rochester Works Incorporated.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second it.
Can I get an explanation, Madam Commissioner?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, thank you. This is a resolution that would authorize the town into going to an agreement with Rochester Works for a job training internship program. So they they do the vetting of interested parties that they would want to come and work for the town. And it's like a job training program. And I apologize, it came up last week, but this is a volunteer-based program. So the employees that come to us through this program are volunteers, and the way it works is if it's interested on both parties to hire them full-time in a later date, then we would be compensated partially for their employment.
Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. When it mentions here, Aaron, sponsor, is that one of our employees a sponsor?
Yes.
And there's someone at Rochester Works
Correct.
that you
Correct.
correspond with for whatever the reason is.
Yes, correct.
First of all, I've done my research. I believe in workforce development, absolutely. I'm glad we have a resolution here, because we've never had a resolution for this. It's for a year. And I think, and I've talked to some of the DPW over, the past week since this came about. I think we've had 1 or 2 employees come out of this and became employees of the town, that's a success.
Yes.
The only question I have are when they come on, are we drug testing anyone? Do we drug test these people? That's a question I have. Jason, anybody know? Do we drug test them? If they're using our equipment, and I read in here, if they have a driver's license, they could drive our vehicles, correct? Are they allowed to drive our trucks if they have a driver's license?
I don't know, that would have to be a departmental decision, but we drug test for, if they're in the pool for the CDL, random testing, but we don't do a pre-employment drug test.
Okay, it's just a concern that if they're gonna use our equipment, drive our vehicles, it looks like, they can drive our vehicles with a legitimate driver's license, so I don't know how other board members feel about that, but, just a concern of mine. I think that the drug test should be part of this.
Yeah, Mr. Perdicone, we probably can address that through policy by setting a drug test policy for internships, and I'll work with legal and get the right wording on that. Yeah, and I don't think that we don't want to have to come back for a vote. We'll just be part of the program.
Well, I think it'd be addressed. I think it should be addressed. I don't think we get pushback from it, but they're gonna send employees here using whatever they use, if they're over at the DPW tools, especially if they're driving vehicles, if we have a policy in place, I would feel, and I'm glad we have a resolution here. I've never seen a resolution on this behalf. It's for a year and really good. Listen, if it helps the department, I've talked to DPW. They like the program, so that's all I have to hear, that it's a good program and it works, so.
So after this, I'll work with
Yeah.
with Madam Commissioner and,
Yeah, I would. All right,
John,
thank you.
typically, people in this nature, we would also not have them alone, so I understand your concern.
Well, yeah, there is supervision, of
Yep,
course.
always,
Of
yep.
course. Okay. But I like that you have a communication too with, I'm assuming this is what Rochester Works, someone's there that
Yes, it is.
represents.
Yep.
And I don't know if this is the only town that does this. Wouldn't think, maybe not. I don't know if other towns do this same program. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, so, but,
I'm
we
not
don't
sure
really
as
have, I read this, we can have what I heard, at one time, we had like 5 or 6, right?
Yes,
You could have
before
5
the
or 6.
pandemic, we did have times when we had,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and they could be here up to 6 months, or, it all depends on how they do, so, okay.
Correct.
But I'm glad we're gonna talk about a policy, because I would like to see that, put into the thing, okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? With that, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 21, authorizing the supervisor to enter into a contract for senior golf leagues for spring/summer 2024.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation? Madam Director?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution refers to our annual contract with the Shore Acres Executive Golf Course, who hosts our men's and women's senior golf leagues, which are slated to begin in May of this year.
Any questions or comments?
Once we approve this, will spring ultimately arrive?
That's the plan.
Okay.
Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 22, accepting gifts for Arundecoit's Winterfest celebration.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second?
May I have an explanation? Madam Director?
Yes, sir. This resolution is our formal acknowledgement and appreciation for the many sponsors, donors, and volunteers who supported our Winterfest 2024, which took place last month here on Town Hall campus. It's just our way to formally show our gratitude for their support.
Any questions or comments? Well, I'll start off a wonderful event, and thank you and your staff again, and also all the sponsors. I think it was a huge success.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 23, accepting the proposal for sound and lighting services for town and special events.
Motion to adopt? Moved. Can I get a second?
Second.
Could I have an explanation, Madam Director?
Yes, thank you. This resolution will allow us to extend our contract with DCM Productions for all of our sound and lighting for the various special events that take place throughout the town, including here at Town Hall campus and several other locations. They've done a great job for us, and we're looking forward to working with them again this year.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 24, authorizing the town engineer to update the town zoning code.
Motion to adopt?
Move it.
Can I get a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation? LaBella? Town Engineer?
Good evening, Wes Petty from LaBella Associates. Last week we came with a proposal for you guys to review a two-phase process for updating your zoning regulations. Really, we feel, and I think the town staff would probably feel the same, and maybe even in planning board and zoning board members, the administrators of the code would feel that an update is needed here for the town of Arundecoit with regard to your zoning. So the first phase, I think that's something that can be done pretty quickly, right? We can have results to you and something to adopt in the near future to take care of some of the easier components, administrative components of the zoning regulation. And then we would recommend that gearing up for the phase 2 component, recommend that the town establish a zoning update committee with maybe a member from the planning board, member from the zoning board, maybe a member of the town board. And we could talk about some other entities as well, but that would be helpful for the zoning update. So I don't know if you've got any questions for me. If you'd have had an opportunity to look at the proposal, happy to answer your questions if you have any.
Any questions or comments?
Comprehensive zoning review is something I've been asking for quite a while, so I'm glad to see this possibility of this occurring.
Yeah. Well, we're happy to get involved because we've been working with it intricately for the past 2 years. And so we have a good idea of where things stand and where things could be improved.
And this would be mainly on the zoning and planning side, and for the other portions of the law will.
Yeah, this would be strictly regarding Chapter 235 of the existing town code, which is the zoning chapter. Yep.
Any other questions or comments?
No, just that our residents have been asking for this as well, so I think this is long overdue.
Okay.
Well, and obviously it is long overdue, and what I'd like to, it's in a resolution form too, that, you know, as they move on and do other tasks for the town, that we have a resolution to approve what they're doing and costs and everything, and so we know what's going on, so I appreciate that too. Thanks, Wes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you have pretty much a fixed cost for the entire.
Yeah, so we've suggested for phase 1 that it be not to exceed, right? So it could be less than $10,000, and then a lump sum of $78,300 for the remainder of the phase 2. But if for some reason through the public participation components and things come in, you know, really shy of what that is, we can adjust that as necessary.
So is this one resolution for both?
For phase one and phase two.
Phase one and phase two?
Yeah, so phase one would be the immediate things that we can change now. And phase two, public comment.
Yeah.
I'd like to get some of the developers in town involved, some of the residents in it, and get residential input. Go back through our historical past, look at some of the problem areas that we have. Look at parking, environmental, the whole full impact, which would take
I
about.
mean, that'll take some time. You mentioned it last week too, Wes. So
should
that'll
take-
take some time.
Should take a little bit over a year to do.
Okay.
Yep, we're anticipating 12 to 14 months for phase two.
And we're going to get updates, correct? You'll come and update,
absolutely.
especially once you get into that phase two, because that's, that's going to be time consuming as well too.
Yes,
but-
absolutely. And that's also another reason why we might want to have a town board member be a part of the committee, or maybe just someone, a liaison to the committee,
Okay.
right? To stay in touch with what's going on.
Good idea. Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, and the other thing we'd like to do, Mr. Perticone, is video, all of it, because it won't be open meetings. But I think those discussions will be beneficial, and that would dovetail with the improvements we're making on the IT side for both ICAT, Facebook, and the other communications with the public.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, Wes. After this, do you see something else coming down the pike that needs, attention?
For a code?
Yeah,
a code
for
update?
anything, after these two phases. Anything comes to mind right now?
Not off the
All
top
right,
of my head.
after these two phases, we'll
Yeah.
be, okay.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, right, there might be something that we implement as part of the regulation that doesn't work out 6-10 months down the road.
Mhm.
So maybe you do some minor tweaking after the
Okay.
fact, right? So, but
Okay.
we won't be able to
Right.
do that until after.
I just didn't know if there was other, but I know that it's been a long time coming, so definitely support.
And the final comment with the new director of development, who's experienced in code and building and fire, and being a fire marshal, I think this is a perfect time to implement this.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. This concludes our regular town board meeting on March 19th, 2024. Our next meeting is the workshop meeting on Tuesday, April 9th, 2024, at 4 p.m. here in the Broderick Room. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
All in favor? Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The meeting is adjourned.